Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto, and today guys we are taking a cheeky look at Stellar Lumens, and we're going to give you our 5 reasons for why we invested in this project. These are probably the top 5, there are many others, but this is going to be a bit of a roundup of the 5 reasons that we think everyone should be considering when they look at this particular project. So Chris, anything you want to add at this point?
No, my favourite word.
Fantastic. Right, guys, if you do find this useful or informative, do go ahead and smash that like button for Chris. He really appreciates it, as do I. And as always, if there's anyone new who is not yet subscribed to the channel, do go ahead and subscribe. By being a subscriber, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, let's jump on over to the desktop and go through our first point. So reason number 1, guys, is all about use case. Chris, do you want to take everyone through the kind of fundamental use cases of Stellar Lumen?
Look at that. The first time you asked me to add value, I said no. That was just to catch you off guard, guys. So Stellar was made to support digital representations of any currency, basically. So it's all about tokenization, isn't it, Nick?
Absolutely, yeah. It does a lot of for the world around the unbanked as well. So yeah, anything else you want to kind of add other than obviously real top level tokenization? But there are so many fantastic things that are happening here.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go into more detail? I was going to keep it kind of high level.
That's fine, yeah. So if we look at it from a use case perspective, Stellar Lumens in itself is trying to help the millions upon millions of people who do not have access to the traditional banking system. These are commonly referred to as the unbanked. So primarily that's one of the major use cases of Stellar Lumens, right? So some people look at Stellar as the little brother, I guess, to Ripple, right? Or something like that, XRP and XLM, right? They're 2 very similar projects. In fact, the co-founder of Stellar is also the co-founder for Ripple and XRP. We'll get into that in a moment as well. But fundamentally, at the very core of this project, it's about tokenization, as Chris says, with a primary focus on the unbanked, right? And that's really important to understand from like a use case point of view. They're integrating with banks, they're helping everyday people transact without the need of banks as well. So basically, it's an incredibly powerful tool.
Okay. And it's slightly different to what XRP and Ripple are trying to do, isn't it, Nick? Because this is really person to person mainly, and it is really sort of heavily focused on like you say, the unbanked, whereas Ripple is more institutional level.
That's exactly it, yeah. There's the references that you're probably familiar with by now if you're looking at the crypto space here, and that is that Ripple is the banker's coin. That's what it's commonly referred to. And that's because they're trying to work with banks and have XRP transacting in the background. XLM, on the other hand, or Stellar, is the peer-to-peer, the everyday person's token. And this has that common kind of name or associated with it as the people's token, right? The people's coin rather than a banker's coin. So XLM is really about, was intended for everybody to use, whereas XRP is more intended for banks to use. Okay, so 2 very distinct differences, 2 missions that each project is trying to achieve. So yeah, very, very similar technologies, but different approaches. So that was reason number 1. The use case is absolutely fantastic with Stellar. It's really top level here. You can go into a lot more granular detail with this, but just think of it as tokenization on their blockchain, which is fantastic. So let's get into point number 2, Chris, which is all about the team, right? So the team over at Stellar is absolutely fantastic. As we briefly mentioned in reason number 1, was about 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗓. Now, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗓 is the co-founder here, or founder, sorry, founder and chief architect, if you will, of Stellar, okay, and XLM. He was also the co-founder of XRP and the XRP ledger, right? Now, for whatever reason, falling outs, etc., we won't go into that in this particular video. And basically, he left Ripple, left XRP, the XRPL, and set up Stellar. I think it was about a difference of direction, shall we say. Okay, so setting up Stellar, his very clear focus was to make it a people's project, and ultimately, I think he's done a very, very good job at setting this up and moving it forward. Now, if you look at the broader team here, we obviously have a general counsel here, Candace, We have David as the founder and chief scientist. We obviously have the CEO and executive director, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗡𝗃, an absolutely fantastic CEO she is as well. Jason, Jed, obviously, and Jordan. Now, those are a few there. We obviously have Justin, Katia, Mark, and Nicholas. Okay, so these guys basically do an absolutely fantastic job of leading the Stellar Development Foundation and, you know, setting up XLM Stellar as you see it today. And one of the real important things here, and why this is always within our top 5 reasons for every kind of project, is the team is fundamental to, you know, driving things further forward. And 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗡 does an absolutely outstanding job at doing exactly that. She nails those deals, she gets those integrations, she gets those partnerships, and she gets things across the line, right? And it's the same with a few other projects. You have the similar kind of scenario for Ripple with Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, I was going to say Chris Larson, etc. Right? They're fantastic individuals who really drive it forward. VeChain has similar things with Sunny Liu, right? Always out there, well spoken, you know, does lots of interviews, gets deals across the line. And obviously with Stellar here, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗡𝗃 is absolutely fantastic at doing just that. So the team is really crucial, and it's really important that we understand that that is our reason number 2. And I guess just, yeah, it's fantastic to have a good, strong leadership with a project like this. Anything you want to add to teams, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've mentioned 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗡. You know, strong history. You know, when you look back through like experience and stuff, you know, 𝗕𝗫𝗄𝗎𝗄, I think was the previous company that she worked for, you know, as chief operating officer. You know, lots of experience, like 8.5 years there, and lots of, you know, senior legal director roles. One in particular would be like a Yahoo. So, you know, you got lots of experience there. Again, one of the reasons. But then, you know, David, that you mentioned earlier. So for me, obviously he's the co-founder and chief scientist at Stellar. And this guy, like, I mean, you don't hear that much about him, but I mean, you know, he's like, the experience that this guy's got is phenomenal, and this is part of the reason why I really like this project. You know, so he's studied at Harvard University back in the 90s. You know, I just want to give you a bit of background to him. You know, professor of computer science at Stanford University for 15.5 years, pretty much, before moving to Stellar. This guy, like, knows his stuff. You don't really hear his name being mentioned too much.
No, you don't, but it's fantastic that you have such a strong team over at Stellar. So well worth you know, digging in deep into this team. We obviously have done, and we are absolutely outstanding. I guess amazed by, you know, strong leadership such as this, and it means a lot for a project of this scale. As they are trying to move mountains, you need a strong team to be able to do that. So moving on to our 3rd reason, Chris, which is all about partnerships. Right, so partnerships are crucial to these blockchain technologies and moving them forward and getting them utilized. And for Stellar, this is what I was talking about with 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗡, getting things across the line, getting those integrations and getting those partnerships. So here's a bit of a list, right? So I'm not going to read through them all, but IBM, obviously, I imagine everyone's kind of familiar with IBM to a degree, absolutely massive, and they are, you know, a partnership with Stellar, right? You have Smartlands, also incredibly massive in things that they're trying to do in terms of tokenization, UK-based company, and they're basically looking at real estate, right? As just going to call that out, real estate on Stellar. Okay, so absolutely massive partnership, and do expect things to move in that space going forward. Stripe, imagine that you'd be familiar with Stripe, right? Payments platforms, integrates with Shopify, you know, Stripe. Those guys, massive integration there. So pay attention to what's happening. HTC, Exodus. So again, I'm not going to go through them all, but you know, we've got Wirex, we've got 𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗀, we have 𝗕𝗏𝗪𝗔𝗡 Group, massive again. We have Soldo, we have Tempo. I mean, yeah, Bitbond, Sure. There's just so many fantastic integrations with Stellar. So, you know, do pay attention to what's going on. You know, anything you would want to add, Chris, on these integrations? Other than that, they're absolutely massive names, but the things that they're doing with these integrations is just massive.
Yeah, and one thing that I do want to add some value, Nick,
Go for it.
not just a puppet. So IBM, right? We know like how much of a massive company they are, right? It goes kind of without saying, but there's a lot of misinformation. Like IBM are sort of, I don't know, in partnerships with a lot of different blockchain providers, right? But I don't think people quite understand how big this is for Stellar, right? Because basically they introduced WorldWire. I don't know if you've heard of that. Many people probably haven't. Some may have. But basically, this is huge. It basically simplifies being able to sort out compliance, faster settlements, and this is on the Stellar blockchain. So this is IBM setting something up on the Stellar platform, right? So you get a lot of people saying, yeah, but they're invested. They're probably just stealing part of the technology or something like that. That isn't what's happening. They are fully like integrated technology in, or on, should I say, the Stellar blockchain. So lots of misinformation out there. I just kind of wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So guys, do recommend you guys dig deep into these partnerships. They do fantastic things for the blockchain. So moving on, which kind of goes in line with a bit of IBM stuff here, but it's all about the stablecoins revolution that you're starting to see within Stellar and the crypto space as a whole. So Stellar is kind of, it feels like they're kind of leading the charge a little bit. They've got quite a few different stablecoins and CBDCs and stuff being spoken about on that particular blockchain. So there's this post obviously here, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically stablecoins, the future of digital money. So what is a stablecoin? Basically, in a summary, a stablecoin is a digital asset that's pegged one-to-one to a fiat currency. So the utility of stablecoins should be pretty obvious. It means that you'll be able to use all the benefits of a blockchain technology, but always have it stable in relation to that fiat currency. So stablecoins on Stellar. So stablecoins Stellar was designed for stablecoins before stablecoins was even a word, which is just think about that for a moment. They were definitely ahead of the time. Stellar was built with its core focus on asset issuance. So talk about tokenization, right? And basically, a stablecoin is a tokenized fiat currency, if you really want to look at it from that level. So it's fantastic to see that this is happening. But beyond obviously just talking about the fact that you can put stablecoins on Stellar, let's talk about some actual stablecoins actually being put onto the Stellar platform, right? So we have the most probably familiar one with you guys, which will be the USDC. That will be going onto the Stellar platform as of Q1 this year. So within the first 3 months, we should be seeing the USDC on Stellar. Beyond that, there's a German bank, one of the oldest German banks, in the whole of Germany, that basically is now tokenized euro, and they've put that on the Stellar blockchain as well. Beyond that, there's a whole host of other stablecoins that are being spoken about being put on this platform as well. So it becomes a bit of a centralized hub for these stablecoins because of the underlying technology and the core being tokenization, which we spoke about in reason number 1. So stablecoins are an absolutely vital thing to understand what this actually means for Stellar, what this means going forward for the entire crypto space. And it's fantastic to see Stellar is leading this to a degree. Don't get me wrong, they're not the only platform that has stable coins, but they definitely have the ability to scale it alongside things like Algorand, for example, who also have, let's say, Canadian dollars stablecoin put onto that one. So loads going on in the world, and it's fantastic to see that stablecoins are not being missed out on Stellar either. Anything you want to add to stablecoins, Chris?
No, nothing I can add to stablecoins.
Fantastic. So that brings us to the last point, the 5th reason, guys, which is price, right? So one of it seems like a strange thing to maybe bring up, but basically price is the 5th reason. We like to make sure that obviously we have a strong use case, something that is happening in this blockchain that cannot be replicated by something else or has a USP of sorts, right? The team is also vitally important in delivering that use case. The partnerships and those integrations, depending on how strong those are, will determine whether or not we want to be invested here. The CBDCs and the stablecoins are, a fantastic thing to see actually happening, because that is the future. We are seeing CBDCs as the future here. So it's good to see that Stellar is encompassing that as well. Then we go into price, right? And the price should reflect all of these things. However, when we look at the price of Stellar, we see it as undervalued, given that the use case of this project is absolutely massive. The team is so well, anchored for delivering that use case. And the partnerships are strong and good, right? And then obviously we have stablecoins and things in the future being built on this platform. The value of this token seems very much lower than it should be. And for that reason, we obviously gets our interest, right? So currently trading, as we record this video, at 12.9 cents seems very, very low. The other things to point out here, it has a circulating supply of 21.9 billion XLM tokens. There is a maximum of 50 billion ever going to be created. It used to be 100, that got halved to 50. So you can see there's definitely value there. Market cap at the moment is only $2.8 billion. And to put that into perspective for you guys, Bitcoin is over $500 billion as it stands today. So, huge scope for potential in growth here. Okay, so from a pure kind of price perspective, it has our interest. And one of the reasons that we like to invest here is everything else that we've gone through got big ticks from us, and then we saw the price. It definitely feels undervalued. So then we go into the chart, we'll see what's going on there. We can definitely see some recent price action here. We know the all-time high was way up here in 2017-18, right? So we know that there's potential to go back into those heights that we were at before. I've been obviously watching this chart for some time. I have the Fib retrace on here, so we can see, from recent high levels and low levels where we're currently trading, expecting things to come up again in the due course. They're basically entering a bit of a bull cycle, so definitely keen to see how this one plays out. Still feels incredibly undervalued. I feel even if this thing is like under 50 cents, it still feels undervalued, from my return on investment perspectives. But Chris, is there anything else you want to talk about on price that kind of makes you feel that it's worthy of an investment?
The tokenization piece for me is sort of the main reason why I think this one is as undervalued as I believe it to be, right? Because when you talk about tokenization, you're not just talking, you're
not talking fiat to fiat necessarily.
No.
I mean, that's one aspect, right? A stablecoin is basically a tokenized fiat currency. But you've got property, right? And that comes up with Smartlands, right? So Smartlands, a UK-based company, they're talking about tokenizing real estate, right? And I'll put this out there. Anyone knows the answer, I'm going to probably tell you anyway, but I was going to say drop it in the comments below. But basically, the global real estate market is $217 trillion, right? If you were to tokenize 10% of that, you're talking about 21.7 trillion dollars, right? So yeah, you can imagine that tokenization is an absolutely beast of an area to get into, and just real estate alone is worth trillions of dollars. So watch this really carefully, guys, because one thing I'm pretty confident on is in 10 years from now, Stellar was not going to be 12 or 13 or even $1. It's going to be so much higher. So there's fantastic opportunities. At least we believe so, Chris, right? It's why we kind of got in when we did. Get these tokens at such undervalued rates and hold it for a while.
Yeah, and none of this is financial advice. It's purely our opinion. But we wanted to kind of scope out why we like these projects, at least give you 5 reasons why.
Absolutely. So guys, those were our 5 reasons. If you did find this useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button for Chris. He really does appreciate it, as do I. And if you're new to the channel, then please do go ahead and subscribe. By being subscribed, you will be kept up to date with all of the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all that said, we hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Take care.